All right, before I explain things, I ran out of propane yesterday and I made this little rocket stove like 3 years ago. And I made a video of how I made it and everything, but I never ended up testing it out and never ended up using it or putting the video up on YouTube. But I went to use it yesterday and it totally blows. It does not work good at all. It just smoked the whole time. It didn't have enough room, I guess, in there for air or something. I don't know. It should have worked, but it didn't. It just smoked out my pan and smoked everything out. So I got this bigger 5-gallon bucket and I got it set up with a water bottle and some molding, and I'm going to put some plastic wrap over everything. So hopefully it'll come out of there a little bit easier. But once it's all solid, once I put cement in there and it's all solid, once I tip it over, that cement's going to be so heavy it'll probably fall out of there pretty easily. And then I might have to just cut the plastic bottle out of it afterwards. So yeah, that's the plan. So I'm going to mix 1 bag of cement. 1 bag of cement should fill this bucket almost to the top, like to that room there. It should be plenty enough to do what we want to do here. And hopefully we can make an oven that works a little bit better than the other one, you know. I need something I can just put some kindling in and fire it up and it get going really quick, you know, like 10 minutes it'll get going and have some coals and have a nice hot flame so I can cook. Because propane costs a lot, especially when you're not making crap for money. I mainly just forgot it. When I went to town this week, I forgot to pick up more propane. I was on my last can, so I hate buying that stuff anyways. It's like I'd rather just burn the firewood that I have here. I have tons of wood on the property and I selectively harvest it in a way where it's, you know, always going to grow back perfect. So I really don't touch my firewood the way that I do it. So I really just want to use the firewood for everything. So I'm going to mix some cement. Okay, let's go find a shovel now. I don't know, maybe I should put it in with like a hand shovel a little bit at a time. Yeah, I guess I probably should do that. Alright, just covered the mold of the bottle. A little bit left. And I've just been like temping it the whole time, like kind of like shaking it up and putting the shovel through it, making sure there's no pockets of air. I'll put the last in there and then I'll try to flatten it out as smooth as I can get it. Alright, it's full, over full. But I'm gonna let it set for a second and some of it should surface out, and then I'll go over it with a flat piece of wood to try to get it as flat as possible. But I want to clean the wheel barrel out before it starts drying. So I'm gonna do that now. Alright, there it is. I mean, it's not the flattest in the world, but I just did it with that board. So yeah, should be flat enough to sit on though. Let it sit now for 4 or 5 hours and see how it looks. And well, let it sit for an hour, see how it looks, and probably stamp my initials in it. And then let it sit for 4 or 5 hours, see how it looks, and then tomorrow morning it should be dry enough we can get it out of that bucket. It'll take forever to dry in the bucket, but maybe we'll wait 2 days, depends on how it looks tomorrow. It's definitely humid out here, so things do not dry fast. It's like 70% every day. It's rained almost every day this summer actually, but yeah, 2003 for you. I had a little release of air, a little bubble come up here, which isn't good necessarily. Hopefully that cardboard didn't get wet and collapse. I had a bunch of cardboard in there, like rolled up, so I don't think it couldn't really collapse completely, but I probably should have put like a plastic bottle or something in the middle of the cardboard. So we'll see. I don't know. It wasn't enough air that the whole thing collapsed, hopefully, but hopefully there's a place to put firewood in here still. You know, the bottle area, the burn area won't collapse. That bottle is definitely not going to collapse, but I probably should have reinforced that cardboard with a plastic bottle in the middle. I didn't even think about it. Well, we'll see. Hopefully it works out. Alright, while that cement thing dries, I might be able to fire it up tomorrow night, but it might be a couple days before we want to fire that thing. Like I said, I'm out of propane, so this is what I put together for tonight. I'm going to just get some coals together, and this is for pan cooking, so it doesn't matter what kind of wood I use for the coals. Preferably not pine wood. And then once I have a big pile of coals, I'll just shovel them all in underneath that. And I've cooked over an open fire a lot in my life, so this is how I usually like doing it. Pulling the coals into a little area. And those bricks are going to make it real nice, though. Those will reflect heat and keep a really nice even hot zone in there. So yeah, this will probably work better than what I'm trying to work on. Better than the cement stove, but I can't burn a huge big fire every day, you know. The little cement stove will hopefully work with just a small bit of wood, and I can run it right next to the cabin, you know. So I can cook dinner on it every night. It's a little much to burn a whole campfire to cook dinner every day. That's outrageous, so you don't want to do that. But I figured I'd have a fire tonight, rake the coals, cook up something nice. I think I'm gonna beef and broccoli. Wish me luck on that. Oh, ground beef and broccoli almost done. Halfway through this, the chickens jumped over the fence and was warming around the garden, so I had to go and deal with him. It's the first time he's done that, so I'm sure he's gonna be a pain in the butt after this. Yeah, this is a lot easier than the technique we used yesterday, but hopefully this new stove works good and uses less wood. But yeah, at least got dinner ready. The bricks come in handy. It's definitely handy having bricks on hand. I need to go get some more of those. Alright, so it's been 2 days, and it was a pain in the ass to get out because there's one section I had to duct tape in there. Duct tape the mold to the bucket. So I had to take a torch and heat the outside of the bucket up right where I knew the tape was. And once it got warm enough that that tape melted, you know, the stickiness melted off of it, I was able to free it. Here's the first look. Still definitely pretty rough. And definitely not cured. A lot of drying to do still. But as you can see, the opening here is pretty rough. So I'm gonna go around with a chisel and a hammer, and I'm gonna clean up these openings. And then we're gonna let it dry for another like day or two, and then we'll work on getting the plastic bottle and the mold and everything out of here. Yeah, it's pretty big. Weighs about 85 pounds right now. So once it loses its water, it should come down to about 80 pounds. Yeah, I'm gonna get the chisel and clean this thing up. Well, I cut the bottle, let the water drain out, and then try to work it out in a way where I don't break the cement at all. Should come out easy, except for the very bottom where the cap is, had like a lip. I'm gonna have to heat that up with a torch, and when it's soft, I'll pull it out with pliers. But that little dip will make a nice spot, though. It should. I could have covered it with something. I probably should have covered it with a piece of cardboard, so then it wouldn't have locked in there so bad, but it's all right. We'll get it out. There's all the water. All right, well, there she is. A little divot down there. Collect ash. Get some good coals built up. So I got to get some sort of grate to go over the top. That's thick enough steel that it has some room to breathe, you know, so air can get up under the pot. But yeah, I'll bring you guys back when I fire it up. Probably won't be for a couple more days. Alright, I had to restart this because I had chicken poop all over the place and it was all in my way. These chickens are driving me crazy sometimes, but here we are. We're ready to light this thing up, and it's been more than a couple of days. It's actually been about a month and a half since we made this, but it got cold enough that I was using the wood stove and I didn't really need it, you know. So because we ran out of propane. I still don't have any propane, but it got cold enough that I was running the wood stove, so I was just cooking dinner and all my food on that. And I'm actually gonna fire up the pizza oven today, but I figured we'd light this thing up, see how it burns. and finish this video up so I can post it. And yeah, let's see how it lights up. Should light up pretty easily, I would think. But we'll have to see here. I've got a kitchen torch, so it should light up real easy. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna go. Yeah, these things have a good draft, you know? So they light up real good, real easy, pretty quick. We'll get this thing going real good today. Its first burn. And I don't know, maybe, oh man, I just crushed all that stuff, damn it. Well, it was going. I just messed that up. I think it's still going. Yeah, she's going. Kinda. I didn't put much for cardboard in there. There we go. She's going. So I'll let that burn down, and if we get some nice coals, I don't know, maybe I'll cook some stuff on it. The stove, I'm not going to fire the stove up until tonight because it's pretty warm during the day and then cold at night. So I don't know, I could cook some potatoes and some eggs on here maybe. Well, I'm not really planning on doing that. We just want to get it burning and see how it flows. This is what I originally had to go on there, put on top, because you need some space so the fire can breathe underneath the pot or whatever. Oh, the mail lady stopping by. I don't think I'm getting any mail, so nope, she drove right by. But anyways, it's going good. See, these rocket stoves, as soon as you light them, they start ripping, and they rip really good. Something you got to remember is it's going to blacken the bottom of your pan. Like, there's really no way, unless you burn it down to a really nice stack of coals in there before you start cooking, which kind of defeats the purpose of having this kind of a stove. You know, this is a jet stove, so usually, you know, you're cooking with the fire, not so much just the warmth of the coals. But when you cook with fire like this, you do blacken the bottom of your pan really bad, so the pan could get ruined. So you got to think about that if it's a pan you want to. You know, I have pans I cook on the open fire with, and I have different pans that I cook on the wood stove and on the stove with. So you might want to consider that. But as far as this grate goes, this grate isn't going to work. It doesn't give it enough space. So what I need to do is I need to come up with, you know, on a gas range stove, like a gas stove that you'd have at home, you know, the metal thing you put the pot on top of the range top, you know, the little metal grates, it's like a range, I don't know what they call it, but they're like a range cover, you know, and it's the thing you put the pot on. It keeps it over the flame, you know, and off of the flame. So I need to find one of those from some old stove that fits this perfectly. That's what I want. And I go to yard sales and stuff like that, so eventually I'll find one. If I don't find one, I can order one new from Amazon, but you know, they want like 20 or 10 to 20 bucks for one of those, so I'd rather find a used one from an old gas range stove that someone has around here. This thing's going good. This thing lights right up. That's what That's what you're supposed to get. These jet stoves supposed to light right up real quick and burn really nice and even and give you some really hot heat right at that spot at the top of the stove. So there we go. There's a lot of people on YouTube that have made much nicer ones of these, all right? So, you know, if you like this and you think this is something you want to do, you might want to go watch some other videos too, because there are guys who are more precise and, you know, believe in having it look more beautiful. You know, I just made this practical and made it so it worked, and I made it kind of rough, but there's guys who make it look really beautiful and like put all kinds of lines and paint them with ceramic paint and everything like that. So yeah, if this is something you want to check out, there's lots of other videos. I follow tons of guys over the years. I mean, there's probably like 20 or 30 guys who have put videos up of making these, but I needed one. So I figured I'd make one and put it on the channel, and maybe it'd get some of you guys thinking and give some of you guys who are trying to do the off-grid thing a couple more cooking options, because it can be hard. Propane is expensive these days, and if you're not making any money living off-grid, you don't make any money usually, unless you have some sort of good thing you're doing at home, you know, like gardening or whatever. But even gardening doesn't make a lot of money, trust me. You can sell everything in your garden, and gardening is, you got to have fields and fields, thousands of acres to make any money with vegetables. So yeah, basically you're just trying to get by out here, and this will save you a lot of propane. During the summer the wood stove isn't on, so you need to use propane, but I'll be using this next summer instead. So I'm sick of buying propane. I got plenty of firewood on the property. Look at this thing's cranking. Uncle Dave with DEECEE's Adventures. Thank you for watching, and I'm getting ready. I'm building a new bushcraft camp, and I'll be editing those videos down, and we're gonna start getting back into bushcraft and woodcrafting out in the woods, the old stuff, the stuff this channel used to be all about. So Uncle Dave with DEECEE's Adventures, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Sweet.